Yesterday, President Trump announced that acetaminophen during pregnancy can be associated with a, quote, very increased risk of autism, end quote. He then went on to say, quote, so taking Tylenol is not good, end quote. First and foremost, correlation does not equal causation. So if two things are associated with one another, it does not necessarily mean that one causes another. Additionally, acetaminophen is currently considered the only safe over-the-counter option for pain or fever for pregnant people. So where did this claim come from? It is likely the administration is referring to a study that came out in August 2025 entitled Evaluation of the Evidence on Acetaminophen Use and Neurodevelopmental Disorders Using the Navigation Guide Methodology. This study was a meta-analysis examining the association between prenatal acetaminophen exposure and neurodevelopmental disorders and related symptomology in offspring. Of the 46 studies included in the meta-analysis, 8 specifically looked at autism, and of those 8, 5 reported positive associations, 2 showed null associations, and 1 had mixed results. The researchers concluded, quote, our analysis demonstrated evidence consistent with an association between exposure to acetaminophen during pregnancy and offspring with NDDs, including ASD and ADHD, though observational limitations preclude definitive causation. The researchers also state, quote, while population-level trends in NDD rates have risen, potentially due to several factors including improved diagnostics and external exposures, further research is needed to confirm these associations and determine causality and mechanisms, end quote, highlighting that the increase in neurodevelopmental disorders is likely due to multiple factors, not just one. Further, the researchers do not suggest pregnant individuals stop taking Tylenol, as untreated fever can also pose risks to the fetus, but rather cautious approach under medical guidance is recommended. So yes, this one meta-analysis does suggest an association between acetaminophen use in pregnancy and autism. However, it's not a causal relationship. The authors state more research is needed, and even with this evidence, the recommendation is not to stop Tylenol use in pregnancy completely. Additionally, I think it's important to highlight that the largest study to date looking at the association of prenatal acetaminophen use and autism, ADHD, and intellectual disability found no association between prenatal acetaminophen exposure and autism. So yes, there is some research evidence suggesting an association between prenatal acetaminophen exposure and autism, and there is also an abundance of evidence showing no association between the two. Most importantly, however, there is no evidence to date about a causal link between the two. More research is always needed, and it's important to consult your healthcare provider on what is best for you during your pregnancy.